Wait a minute. Is that doofus dabbing? It's the fucking doofus dab. Doofus dabs on those haters. That is awesome. I'm gonna fucking use that from now on. The fucking doofus dab. Dab on those haters.
What is up, everyone? March8 here, bringing you guys the news in a flash. Let's get into it. Along with the new summer event coming into Overwatch, Blizzard has also announced they'll be introducing a new deathmatch mode, which I'm actually very interested in. They were very adamant way back at the beginning of Overwatch that they wanted nothing to do with deathmatch or deathmatch-like modes. They just wanted to be strictly objective-based games. Now, to be fair, that is still very much the case for the primary game. Deathmatch is actually coming to arcade with two modes. The first one is going to be a 7-player free-for-all, and the other mode is going to be a 6v6 team deathmatch. On top of that, a number of maps are being reconfigured in order to fit the deathmatch/team deathmatch mode, and they're also introducing a new map called Chateau Guillard, which was the family estate of Amelia Lacroix, aka I'm throwing the match champion of the Overwatch world, Widowmaker. This map will be her home when she was growing up, and it's supposed to have a bit of lore involved with it. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about this down below in the comments. If you're interested in checking out this developer update, you can find that in the description below as well. Moving on to sadder news, Glen Campbell, the singer-guitarist who gave us such hits as Rhinestone Cowboy, Gentle on My Mind, and Witch of Lineman, sadly passed away on August 8th at the age of 81 after struggling with Alzheimer's disease for many years. He has a memorial fund set up for him if you guys are interested in donating, and I will leave that below with a link. Circa Survive has released a new music video for their new song, Rites of Investure, which is off their upcoming album, The Amulet. Check it out below. Nintendo has revealed they'll be launching a new Metroid-inspired new 3DS XL alongside the release of Metroid Samus Returns. The system will cost $200, and unfortunately, it doesn't include the game. But I gotta say, it does look pretty awesome. If I didn't just pick up the new 2DS XL, I probably would get this. If you guys want to check it out, link will be below. Now, that's the good news for Nintendo, but there's definitely something we should talk about when it comes to Metroid Samus Returns in terms of how Nintendo is handling their DLC practices regarding Amiibos. And there has been quite a bit of a backlash about this already, so you might have already heard about it. So, it was recently announced that multiple Amiibos will be able to function and unlock various things in Metroid Samus Returns. This includes the Super Smash Bros. Samus, which unlocks a special art collection and an extra missile reserve tank, and the Zero Suit Samus, which also unlocks a special art collection and an energy reserve tank. Now, those two are fine. In fact, I actually like what Nintendo is doing here in making sure that these Amiibos are actually useful outside the game that they were originally sold for. Where the controversy kicks in is when we look at the exclusive 2-pack Amiibo set for Samus Returns. One features Samus in the original crouching position, seen in the original Metroid 2, and Samus Returns cover art, and a Metroid breaking out of a testing tube. Now, the new Samus figure gives the player an Ion Reserve Tank and another gallery, but the Metroid Amiibo is where players are getting pissed off. This Amiibo not only assists players in finding Metroids throughout the game, it also unlocks Fusion Mode, which is essentially survival mode with Samus now being able to wear the Fusion Suit. Now, be forewarned, I am going to be going on quite a bit of a rant here. It's going to take a little bit, so just letting you guys know that now. Okay, costumes, skins, reserve tanks, hell, even gear are things that I have no problem with Amiibos unlocking. Like I said before, that's the great thing about Amiibos is that they have this functionality to them that can be used in future titles to unlock cool stuff like this. It gives people a reason to go out and collect them. No, what I have a problem with is when you decide to stop enhancing the game with additional content and instead start cutting it out of the game, like Fusion Mode, aka Survival Mode, in order to pawn it off as DLC. Nintendo just recently jumped into the DLC game, and they already think that they can try and pull this shit over on us. They try to justify this by saying that it's not hard mode. Which, yeah, sure, it's technically true that it isn't hard mode because Samus Return does include a hard mode to it, but that doesn't change anything though. Call it harder mode for all I care. They still cut out a difficulty in order to try and sell it off as DLC. There's absolutely no reason Nintendo could have put Fusion Mode into the game, called it Survival Mode, and then just made the Fusion Suit the item you gained from the Amiibo. People would still have bought it. To make matters worse, not only is the Amiibo pack going to run you an additional $30 on top of the game itself, but Nintendo, instead of making this a DLC you can purchase on the Nintendo store, decided to put this in-game difficulty mode exclusively on items that are notorious for being in short supply and hard for fans to get their hands on, because scalpers love to buy this shit up and then turn it around to jack the price up to gain a profit on eBay. Which, at this point, I'm starting to think that maybe Nintendo and these scalpers have a little something going on between the two of them. It's been going on for a while now, and it almost seems like Nintendo is either refusing to learn from its mistakes, or the two know each other just a little too well. I mean, a company's sending out their product in short supply on purpose to create an artificial inflation, and then turn around and buy out most of that short supply, then post it all on eBay, posing as random sellers to jack the price up in order to gain a profit, is a completely ludicrous and batshit insane idea, right? I actually think that's illegal, and at this point I'm just joking around, but what I'm not joking around about is who this actually hurts. It hurts the gamers, but more importantly, it hurts the fans. For one, I'm not sure if the NFC chips in Amiibos are limited to one user or can be used on multiple devices and accounts. I have a couple of them, I just don't really use them, so I don't really know. If you guys could tell me, that would be great. But if that is the case, where they are limited to a single user, then there are only going to be a limited number of people who shotgun the pre-order button as soon as it went active, or the number of people who are willing to shell out double, if not triple the retail price from some seller on eBay, who may or may not be Nintendo, are going to be able to access this content until more stock comes in, which, could be month to 2 months. We're just now getting the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Amiibos in the Best Buy that I live near, which, let me remind you, is batshit crazy, because what we're talking about here is a fucking difficulty level and a suit from a previous game, which, it was a pretty badass suit. But that's not the point. Another complication arises when you realize that Nintendo might have inadvertently made this whole locked off in-game content DLC thing much worse. Locked off content is definitely something players have been dealing with in a much more frequent basis over the years, and when one company sees another company successfully pull something like this off, especially something that involves making more money and the payback outweighing the backlash, they tend to look at it like a moth would look at a flame. And they'll be like, well, if Nintendo, a well-respected brand, can cut out in-game content such as difficulty modes and sell it off separately in these rare plastic toys that people will jump through hoops just to get their hands on, why don't we do the same? And if you need any better example of this happening in today's industry, look no further than the epidemic that is the loot crates, and how that has spread so rapidly throughout the mainstream gaming community that now almost every FPS title nowadays has some sort of loot system to it. And it doesn't just end there either, because we're now starting to see it seep into single-player games as well, like Lord of the Rings, Shadow of War, and Assassin's Creed Origins. So don't think for a second that they wouldn't try. I just expected better from Nintendo. I know this is a business, but this is the same company that when DLC was first blowing up, and even well after, they pretty much avoided it. And even when they did first take steps into the DLC realm, they took steps in the right direction. They did it the right way. But this was definitely not one of those, and at least not for me. Now, you guys might feel completely different, and I'd absolutely love to hear why down below in the comments. Also, I know there are going to be people out there that are going to be like, well, if you don't agree with it, don't buy it. Bitch, don't tell me what to do with my money. I'm still going to buy this game because the game looks awesome. And I will still try to get my hands on those Amiibos because those Amiibos look awesome. But hear me out, though. If I do, and they can be used on multiple devices and accounts, then I promise you guys that I will let anyone who asks me in person, albeit if we randomly meet in public, use my Metroid Amiibo to gain access to this content completely free of charge. Because it is my honest opinion that no gamer should ever have their ability to choose a level of difficulty to play at locked off by a paywall. Fuck that shit. That's pitiful practices right there, and I'm tired of seeing it. But, like I said before, leave a comment down below if you guys agree, disagree. Thank you all for joining me. Leave a like if you want, if you enjoyed the video. Dislike if you didn't. Subscribe if you want more, and I will see you all in the next one. Mars out.